Why is there anything at all? This is one of the most fundamental questions that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries. It is a question that goes to the very heart of our existence, and it is one that has no easy answer. On the one hand, it seems obvious that there is something. We exist, and the world around us exists. We can see it, touch it, and interact with it. But on the other hand, why does any of this exist? Why couldn't there be nothing at all? In this overview video, we will begin with a discussion of how various philosophical schools answer this question. Then, we will look at some of the arguments made to support these theories, giving you a chance to think through these premises and conclusions. There are several different philosophical theories that attempt to answer this question. These are generally divided into theological, cosmological, and metaphysical theories. First, we will look at theological theories. These theories argue that the existence of the universe is due to the will of God or some other kind of ultimate being or reality that created the universe. This would be the purpose for existence, but our human perspective is simply too limited to fully understand it. As the Bible says, "For now we see through a glass, darkly." However, even those who do believe in God may still ponder why God created the universe in the first place. These theories are often based on religious texts such as the Bible or the Quran. If God exists, then He is the creator of the universe and everything in it. In this case, the answer to the question, why is there anything at all, is simply because God created it. In philosophy, this is referred to as theism. One of the most common theological theories is the creationist theory. This theory argues that God created the universe out of nothing. This theory is typically based on the first chapter of the book of Genesis, which describes how God created the world in 6 days. There is some theological debate on if the 6 days are actually 6 days or a metaphorical 6 days. A common theological theory that attempts to resolve the actual versus metaphorical is the intelligent design theory. This theory argues that the complexity and order of the universe are evidence of a creator. This theory is often based on the argument from design, which states that if something is designed, then it must have a designer. A related train of thought is deism. This is the belief that God created the universe and then left it to run on its own. Deists believe that God does not intervene in the universe, and that the laws of physics are sufficient to explain everything that happens. Therefore, the answer to the question, why is there anything at all, for deists is that the universe exists because of the laws of physics, which were created by God. Another theological theory is pantheism. This is the belief that everything in the universe is part of God or that the universe is God. Pantheists believe that there is no distinction between God and the universe. Therefore, the answer to the question, why is there anything at all, for pantheists is simply because God is. These theological theories have been criticized for being based on faith, rather than evidence. There is no scientific evidence to support the existence of God. And, critics will point out that there is no scientific explanation for how God could create the universe out of nothing. Now we can move on to cosmological theories. These theories attempt to explain the existence of the universe in terms of its own physical laws, in other words, observable science with no supernatural influences. The laws of physics are the fundamental laws that govern the universe. They are the reason that matter and energy exist, and the reason that they behave in the way that they do. According to this view, the universe exists because the laws of physics allow it to exist. In other words, the universe is not the result of some conscious decision or purpose. It is simply the result of the way that the laws of physics work, based on our scientific study. The most commonly and widely accepted cosmological theory is the Big Bang theory. This theory argues that the universe began as an infinitely hot and dense point, and that it has been expanding ever since. The Big Bang theory is supported by a wide range of scientific evidence, including the cosmic microwave background radiation and the abundance of light elements in the universe. There are other cosmological theories, such as steady state and cyclical universe. However, scientific observations have either invalidated them in whole or part, or else our observations are currently unable to validate or disprove them. So, for now, the Big Bang Theory is our working cosmological theory. However, the Big Bang Theory does not explain why the universe exists in the first place. It simply explains how the universe began. Some people are okay with this explanation. However, for others, it creates a feeling of cosmic dread at the vast meaninglessness of the universe. Also, a common criticism of cosmological theories from a philosophical point of view is that they often lead to an infinite regress of causes. This is because each cause must have its own cause, and so on. This infinite regress of causes is difficult to reconcile with our understanding of reality. Next, we will consider metaphysical theories. These theories attempt to explain the existence of the universe in terms of fundamental concepts such as being, existence, and possibility. One of the most common metaphysical theories is the ontological argument, and most other metaphysical theories end up back at it, sometimes taking a winding path. This argument states that God, or something similar to him, exists because it is possible, or even necessary. It also gives the reason that existence is a better state than non-existence. However, the ontological argument has been criticized for being invalid by several prominent philosophers. Simply because it is possible for something to exist does not mean that it does exist. Additionally, the argument relies on the assumption that existence is better. Here's an overview of how these ontological argument theories break down. Platonic metaphysics might support the argument by arguing that God exists as a perfect form in the world of forms. Aristotelian metaphysics might support the argument by arguing that God is the first cause or unmoved mover. Thomistic metaphysics might support the argument by arguing that God is the source of all being and perfection. On the other hand, some metaphysical theories challenge the ontological argument. For example, Kantian metaphysics argue that we cannot know anything about the world as it is in itself, so we cannot know whether God exists. Idealistic metaphysics argues that the world is a product of our minds, so God does not exist independently of our minds. Materialistic metaphysics argues that the universe is made up of physical particles and forces, so there is no need to posit the existence of a supernatural being like God. Now that we have looked at the three major schools of thought on this question, we will think through some premises that could offer possible answers to our question of why is there anything at all? First, let's consider the possibility that there is no reason why there is anything at all. This argument is based on the following premises. 1. Everything that exists has a cause. 2. There cannot be an infinite chain of causes. 3. Therefore, there must be an uncaused cause. The first premise is based on our experience of the world. We have never seen anything come into existence without being caused by something else. The second premise is based on the logical impossibility of an infinite chain of causes. If everything had a cause, then there would be a first cause, but this is impossible because there would be an infinite number of causes before the first cause. The third premise follows from the first two premises. If everything that exists has a cause and there cannot be an infinite chain of causes, then there must be an uncaused cause. Some people contend that the universe itself is the uncaused cause. They argue that the universe is eternal and has always existed, perhaps as only a speck before the Big Bang. If this is the case, then there is no need to posit the existence of a God or any other kind of ultimate reality to explain the existence of the universe. Others argue that the universe is a product of random chance. They argue that there is no reason why the universe exists at all, but that it simply happened to come into existence by accident. This view is sometimes referred to as nihilism. Now, let's consider the possibility that there is a reason why there is anything at all, but that this reason is beyond our comprehension. This argument is based on the following premises. 1. The universe is complex and orderly. 2. Complexity and order require a cause. 3. Therefore, the universe must have a cause. The first premise is based on our observations of the universe. The universe is full of complex and orderly structures, such as galaxies, stars, planets, and living beings. The second premise is based on the principle of causality. The principle of causality states that everything that has a beginning must have a cause. The third premise follows from the first two premises. If the universe is complex and orderly, and complexity and order require a cause, then the universe must have a cause. This cause is what some people call God. However, it is important to note that the existence of a cause does not necessarily imply the existence of a God. It is simply a possible logical conclusion of the two premises. Some people disagree with these premises because the universe is only a natural process. They argue that the Big Bang was a natural event that created the universe. Even though we don't fully understand this natural process, there is no need to posit the existence of a God to explain what we don't currently know. Others think that this does indeed indicate that the cause of the universe is a supernatural being, such as God. They argue that the complexity and order of the universe are evidence of the existence of a powerful and intelligent creator. Lastly, let's consider the possibility that the universe is eternal and has always existed, perhaps the most controversial one. This argument is based on the following premises. 1. Time is a property of the universe, not something that exists independently of the universe. 2. If the universe had a beginning, then there must have been a cause for that beginning. 2. However, we cannot conceive of a cause for the universe itself, because the universe is everything that exists. 3. Therefore, the universe must have always existed and will always exist. The conclusion drawn is that since the universe is everything that exists, there cannot be anything outside of the universe that could have caused it to begin. Supporters of this concept point out that current scientific theories don't adequately explain some aspects like quantum fluctuations and dark matter and energy. They think that this opens the possibility of an eternal universe. They also contend that the universe isn't a closed system. Of course, there are also strong arguments against the idea that the universe is eternal. One of the most common arguments is that the laws of physics themselves, such as the second law of thermodynamics, forbid the existence of an eternal universe, and the laws can't be dismissed without scientific evidence. I hope our overview discussion has given you some things to think about on the question of why is there anything at all? I encourage you to seek out your answer to this question by further reading and study. After all, that's what philosophy is all about, seeking answers to life's questions. Thanks for watching. Please give us a like if you enjoyed this video, and feel free to comment to let us know your thoughts on it. Also, check out our other study review videos on other philosophers and philosophies.